am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Now I gotta get my little dance on. Hey y'all, hey. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. I'm so glad that you are here, that you are trickling in. And so I want to greet those of you who are on from Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and LinkedIn. Let me see, just make sure I'm not missing a platform. Yes, all of you who are coming in, welcome. Welcome to Inspire. I am so glad that you are here hanging out with us on this good Saturday morning. Listen, I know that you could be doing a whole bunch of other things on Saturday morning, but you decided to come and hang out with us. So I'm so appreciative. Do me a favor while you are trickling in, do me a favor and share this broadcast this morning. We're about to have a really important conversation. And if you know me at all, if you've been hanging out with me at all, you know that last year, December, I lost my goddaughter, my goddaughter Sasha, who is of trans experience. And so there's a number of us in our church who are still grieving her passing. And so this today is really special to me because you're going to hear a little message from Sasha as we close out today. So I want to say Happy Transgender Awareness Week to all of my trans siblings. We love you. We love you so deeply, and we are just so inspired by your courage to live in your full authenticity. Thank you for taking that risk, right? Hey, Quita, good morning, love. So yeah, I see y'all over there on Instagram. If you ever see me looking over there, that's Instagram. Hey y'all. Hey René on Instagram. Is it René or Renee? On Instagram. Thank you for joining. Do me a favor again and share this out. We're going to get into our program. If you just stumbled upon this program today, you don't know who the hell I am, what this program is about, what this show is about. I am Sue A. Webley. I'm your host. I'm an author, entrepreneur, and award-winning minister. And Inspire is a live interview style broadcast that's on a mission to encourage and empower and embolden individuals to create change in their personal lives, their communities, and in the world. And so as our amazing guests, because we have had some fabulous guests, our entrepreneurs, our influencers, our creatives, and others share their testimonies, tips, and tools with us. We hope that you who are watching right now, you who will catch this in the replay, you who will listen later, that you were inspired to elevate your mindset, to pursue your dreams, and to do, as the late Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon put it so eloquently, the work that your soul must have. I already told you where we are currently streaming from, but I want you to do me a favor. I want you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. So when I started this going on 3 years ago, it was through my Cara Solutions brand, and Cara Solutions is still going strong. Amen. But I am building out the Inspire platform. And so I want to get my numbers up on our Inspired pages on Facebook and Instagram. So please go ahead and give us a follow and Inspire with Sue W on Facebook and on Instagram. If you want to follow me directly, you can do that at Sue A. Webley. I am Sue A. Webley everywhere, all over social media, except for X. Okay. So Sue A. Webley everywhere. Or you can head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. You can view all of our previous episodes on the website. You can find out more about the show. You can find out more about me. And you can subscribe to our newsletter so that you are kept up to date on everything that's happening with Inspire. You could also listen later on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. We are Inspired with Sue on all of those platforms. We're Inspired with Sue on all those platforms. I see you, Ken. Good morning, basement to balcony. Let me tell you something about Ken Branson. He's on Instagram hanging out right now. Listen, that man is a treasure, okay? He's a true storyteller, and you're going to be hearing from him. He was already on Inspired, but we're building out another podcast for Carrot Solutions, and you're going to be hearing from him all about the importance of brand storytelling. So that's coming up in January. I'm not going to dwell on that. But I do want to get into introducing our guest for today, René Mendiola. If I did not pronounce that right, René, you correct me when you come on, okay? Program coordinator and community advisory board member for Save Our Sisters United, Inc. And it was really important to me that we honored that we did something for Transgender Awareness Week. Last year, we had a fabulous panel, and I wanted to highlight and spotlight an organization that was doing important work. And so Save Our Sisters United is doing some great work in Texas, in Houston, in the red state. All right. So René is a proud Latino trans man and serves again as the program coordinator for Save Our Sisters United, Inc., a vital organization dedicated to uplifting and supporting the trans people of color community. Hailing from Houston, René works tirelessly along the organization's founder and CEO, Atlantis Narcisse, to create safe spaces, provide resources, and advocate for justice and equality. And René is also on a journey to become a licensed mental health therapist. And so that's combining his passion for advocacy with a mission to offer healing and support to those who need it most. And so we are so excited to have René here. As we prepare to meet René, let's take a look at just a brief portion of a video that Sosu did a couple years ago on visibility.
With me, visibility is important because it's always important to know that you're not alone. So visibility to me means being able to be seen and heard no matter what environment that you're in, while living in your truth and not being judged.
What empowers me about being a trans person is that I have a viewpoint that very few people in this world share.
For me, I grew up in this really tiny town, military brat. My graduating class was like 55 people. So I remember in middle school hearing about drag and thinking that was what trans was, and that's really kind of how I started. And then the second I went to college,
Of sorts.
a friend of mine named Gogo, and she's kind of blown up now. She helps me get an internship in New York for a while, and I got to see someone I know getting to be visibly trans and transitioning, and it's what clicked for me. It humanized it for me.
What makes me feel comfortable to actually go out and just having that time to really, it's more of a self-worth to me. That's what I feel visibility is. Because at the end of the day, when I'm looking in the mirror, all I'm going to see is myself.
Kind of the imperative on trans people to be visible. It's complicated, right? It's not just a good thing or a bad thing, which I think people don't really necessarily embrace that, but that's how I view it. And visibility ties to, for me, surveillance by the state sometimes, and but I think my like full conclusion from that is that at the end of the day, even though that's the case, like being visible is an imperative.
Hmm.
Being visible is imperative. Good morning, Renee.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Listen. I'm so happy to have you here, and so it was really last minute because I sent a message to I sent a message on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, I need someone to come and come hang out with me today to talk about the great work
Mm.
that the organization is doing, and you're going to tell us more about that in a
Yes.
minute. But you responded and said yes, I can do it, and
Hmm.
that the CEO that she would not be able to come and
Yeah.
would you be okay? I'm like, absolutely, absolutely. And
Yeah.
so thank you for jumping in to have this conversation. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Yes, yes, yes. And what's in your cup this morning, Renee? What you
Okay.
drinking?
I got some Topo Chico.
All right, wait. I need to put you in solo layout so we can see that better. Put that back there. Oh, it's mineral water.
Yeah.
Carbonated water. Okay. Is it
Uh-huh.
good?
It is. Yeah. It's really refreshing. People think it tastes like static water, like sparkling water, basically.
Yeah.
But I like static water. I think it's good because I like carbonation.
Oh, you like combination?
It's very crisp. It's very crisp.
You
So
like to get that feeling right there in your neck
I
when you drink.
do. I do. At the end of the day, I crave that burn. Not the alcohol burn. Well, that too, I guess. But
Well,
like
right,
Topo
right,
Chico.
right.
Yeah, I like the
Well, I
carbonation.
have I have in my cup. I always have coffee in my cup, and
Oh, okay.
today specifically, I'm having my all Black Lives Matter cup.
Oh.
And my sister Allison, I hit up this morning because I realized that I didn't have an image for the all trans lives matter,
Hmm.
and so we're gonna give away a cup. So if you are watching today and you want an all trans lives matter cup,
Hmm.
go ahead and put hashtag inspire in the chat. Put hashtag inspire. Matter of fact, let me get that prepared. Listen, Renee, I'm like all behind. I'm behind today. All right, so let me just put this up so that we can start collecting responses.
Hmm.
All right. So if you want an all trans lives matter cup, please put the hashtag inspire in the chat and we will do a drawing before we end our program today. So Renee, again, thank you for joining us. I touched very briefly on what SOSU does,
Hmm.
but can you elaborate a little bit more? Can you tell us about Save Our Sisters United and its mission to support the trans people of color
Hmm.
community? Like what makes this organization's work so vital?
Yeah. So we are trans people of color. Like this organization was made by a black trans woman. Okay, and who better to know what we go through and what we really need? Because the perception of what we need is different from, I think, what people realize. And so I think that with that nuance, we get to we have a holistic view of what trans people need to thrive, not just survive, but thrive. Of course,
Mhm.
we need to do that first. We need to survive first, okay?
Yes.
And so we have initiatives that are wellness based for financial means. Like whenever there's a hurricane or whenever there's a power outage, we've been there to provide um, assistance for food, rent, and bills.
Mhm.
The thing about giving, for example, a lot of people like to provide Amazon cards or something, to people. But what if have we considered that not everybody has an address, to send things to?
Mhm.
And so we keep that in mind. We keep accessibility in mind by giving people just like, for example, a grocery store voucher or
Yeah.
a direct deposit, of cash in order to
Yeah.
pay for things that they need to survive. And so those are things that we pay attention to. We also
Yeah.
have it in English and Spanish because in Houston we have a really high population of Hispanic and Latinx folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so, do you have a physical location? Is there like a drop-in center? How do
Hmm.
you operate in Houston?
We have a co-office with another translate organization called the
Mhm.
Mahogany Project.
Okay.
We have a nice. It's the best office I've ever seen. It's full of personality. Has a bunch of artworks. It's so beautiful in there. They have a
Oh,
they have a boutique in there. They have yeah, everything is stocked. So the fridges and everything are stocked with good food. The name
yeah.
brand.
Yeah. Name brand food, not the no frills, but
Yeah, yeah. It has so much personality. I love it, and we do have a drop-in center. Hmm.
wonderful, wonderful. So, how did you first become involved with the organization?
I was working at another location or at another job with Atlantis
Mhm.
nurses there, and I think she saw something in me when I didn't see something in myself. I think the first thing that we did, me and her, was play argue, and that's what we do is banter back and forth, more like
Mhm.
family,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
so yeah, and she adopted me as her child. So
yeah.
that's my
Okay.
so Atlantis is my community mother, and she's with me for better or for worse,
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
she invited me and another African American trans man to create Save Our Sons and Brothers, which is it's a program underneath SOSU.
yes,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Family is really important. The ability to create
yeah,
your own family, because many of us in the LGBTQ plus community, period, but um, in the trans community, it's because they're we are so often uh, ostracized,
hmm,
right? Kicked out, torn away from, from the communities that we grew up in,
hmm,
cast aside, cast out. We look for family in other people, and we find family in other places. And so family and community is so vitally important. And so that there's no place that I have seen this dynamic take place more than in the community, right? In our
hmm,
community, because we need each other,
yeah,
right?
hmm,
Um, and
yeah,
so yeah, so I'm not surprised that you would find a mother in Atlantis.
yeah. In our, she has over 100 kids. She says she keeps popping them out.
Well,
She thinks that she's done, but then all of a sudden, more people appear in her life, and she has another set of kids.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let us know about your personal journey. So you are a Latino trans man.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a bit about your journey, and how has your journey shaped your work with Save Our Sisters United?
Well, I think that my journey represents an intersection of ethnicity and transness because they both apply in the story. They both matter. You can't explain it without one or the other. So I come from a family who was born. We're all Hispanic, right? But
Hmm.
we are from Texas for generations, at least 3 or 4 generations.
Wow.
And my parents were the climate back then was in the 60s. They were going to school. My parents were going to school in the 1960s, and they were hit and spanked for and punished for speaking Spanish in school. So they stopped, and they didn't
Wow.
teach me. They didn't teach me. They didn't teach me and my sister, right? And so I grew up not knowing any Spanish. I had to relearn it in college. I had to relearn it to get my culture back. Okay,
Wow.
and one of the reasons why I learned it was because so I could help other trans people, like monolingual Spanish speaking trans people in Houston, because
Hmm.
we know there's a lot of them here. Okay, and a lot of them aren't documented.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I knew that I had a reason. I had a reason that was beyond just having the possibility of getting some extra salary money per year for speaking another language. It wasn't really about that for me. It was just more like, what can I do to maximize my potential?
Hmm.
Yeah, and being trans, well, so interestingly, when I tried to come out at first when I was about 14, but
Mm-hmm.
then and the first people I told were my sister and my dad, and they were the closest people in my life to me. But they both got so scared whenever I came out, and they responded very reactively. My dad said he wouldn't love me anymore if I transitioned. My sister said that she didn't believe me. She said you're just trying to find somewhere to belong, you know. And I realize now that they were scared. They didn't know what to do with it, so they just said the first thing that came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now they support me, with head and heart. They're my biggest
Yeah.
supporters, and but that's how I know it was a reaction out of fear and not knowing what it means to be trans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
back then there was not as much literature about being trans out there. Yeah, and so, but interestingly, my mom, because Hispanic people as a whole tend to really lean on gender roles,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom actually, because before I was out socially as a trans person, I was out I appeared to the world as like a stud, like a lesbian, like a stud.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and so she was always uncomfortable with that because I defied the typical female experience. I defied the look, I defied
Yeah.
attitude,
Mm-hmm.
and it always made her uncomfortable. But then whenever I came out as a trans man, she's like, okay, that makes sense, and I think she likes it better for because I can appear to the world as a typical day to day male, and
Yeah.
that comforts her.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of somebody being more comfortable with a trans child, versus a visibly queer child, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I
So
think,
because it fits into I guess gender norms,
yeah,
right? When you're non-binary, or you are a stud or aggressive
mm,
lesbian, or butch, um that defies gender
yeah,
norms.
and
And
people can
so
see,
yeah,
and when people see it, whether you like it or not, they react to what they see, and so it
yeah,
does impact the way that the world treats you.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It's,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I see you guys coming in. Good morning, Chuck Jones. Uh, Chuck says, good morning soon, everyone just waking up. This is the best way to wake up. Folgers who. Thank you, Chuck. I so
Hmm.
appreciate you. And Chuck says hi to you, Renee.
Hello,
And
hello.
my sister Allie is on. Hey, sis. Thank you so much for joining us. And then Chuck Hunt is joining us from Monroe, Louisiana. Good morning. And I see a few of you have joined us, Noah and Black Women's History Month, and all of the wonderful people
Oh,
over on Instagram. So, hi, y'all. If you have a question, we are in conversation with René Mendiola, who is representing SOSA, the Save Our Sisters United, and Save Our Sons, and what's the Save Our Sons and Brothers?
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Okay, and Save Our Sons and Brothers. And so it is Trans Awareness Week, and so we are speaking with Renee about this organization that's doing vital work in Houston, Texas. So,
Hmm.
Renee, what do you see as the most pressing issues?
Hmm.
Right.
Um,
So we're going to talk about the current political climate in a minute, but outside of that, what do you see as the most pressing issues facing the trans community
mhm.
today, and how does the organization address them?
Yeah. So even without the political climate talk, right, which I know we'll get to, there is a bigger conversation to be had about our will to live, right, and our access to jobs, how we get treated in jobs whenever we try to advance ourselves. School, education, I know it's tied to politics, but things are being taken away from us left and right. And what message does that send to people who have to deal with being invalidated in and out? One day we wake up with rights, and the other day, and the next day they're taken away. And so, yeah, that it's because of political reason most of the time. But I'm focusing on the mental health, on the impact emotionally on us, and the fact that every year, at least one trans person has been murdered here in
Mhm.
Houston. Okay, Houston's a big city, right? And so
Yeah,
one person for the last 3 years has died here, and I have known at least a couple of them. Okay, and so I'm grappling with the fact that I'm still trying to process the fact that that's not normal to expect somebody to be murdered every year that I know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it is a reality. And what I'm thinking about the message that that sends to other trans people, how hyper vigilant we have to be. We have to
Hmm.
be hyper vigilant everywhere we go, and
Yeah,
that takes a lot of energy. Imagine that energy that could be put towards something else. It could be put towards just living in the moment. But what is living in the moment? That's a privilege to be able to do that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
If you're hyper vigilant of your surroundings, and if you have to consider the fact that you might be attacked, or it's those are the things that are hard to express and hard to describe to people who might not experience who don't understand the trans experience, but it's
Right.
all it's like a lingering feeling.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so that is why we attach ourselves to other trans people, and we're always 2 or 3 steps ahead of other people in terms of knowing where to go to get medication, to get seen by a doctor, to get care. It's always it's like a coordinated underground thing.
yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
that. And so I do want to kind of touch on the political climate, right? And so given
Yeah.
the current political climate, anybody that hasn't been under a rock
Yeah. Yeah.
knows. And so surrounding, you talked about the rights being taken away, surrounding the potential rollbacks, right, or
Hmm.
protections for
Hmm.
the trans community. And we know that this will impact trans people of
Yeah.
color in a major way.
Hmm.
How is the organization navigating these challenges and continuing its advocacy work?
Well, we always make a statement every year. We have an event on Trans Day for Remembrance, and it's called
Mhm.
Rain in Paradise for RIP. So, but instead of rest in peace, it's rain, like raining in paradise,
Yeah,
right? And so after someone dies, they get to reign and they get to rest in paradise, right?
yeah,
And so it's a memorial, yes, but it's also a statement about how look at how many people because who have been murdered this year. How many
mhm,
trans people? Okay, and so we get pictures and put a little bio about who they were when they were alive, not how they died, not when they died, not it's about who they were, their interests. Okay,
yeah,
this is a person whose life was taken and they had these. This is who they were, and so we have a picture of them, and then the biography, and
mhm,
then next to another one. Okay, and so it's like a wall of people, and that seems to really shake up visitors who come in or people who come to the events. And we get people, like for example, a mayor came to an event. Sheila Jackson Lee came to the event before she passed away. And I mean, we have a lot of notable people come, and so this is how we express and like this is how we express the urgency of what's happening. Like these are people's lives being taken every year,
right,
and it's over. It's been as much as 59 people, and so it
mm,
was walls and walls and walls of people. And so
mhm,
I think that it's not enough to tell people that this is a problem. You have to show them.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's when
yeah,
it really hits to the heart. You have to show them, and so that's how we keep the urgency. Um, but that's how we keep communicating. Hey, this is a problem that's not getting going away. In fact, it's getting
yeah,
worse, and it
right,
will get worse with the climate that's about to happen again.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What
But
what are some of your how are you feeling personally about
yeah,
and what conversations have you been having?
hmm
Because I'm sure there's been conversation about what will we do, what will happen.
I did have. I mean, the next So I think I went in protection mode and I was very numb the day after, and everyone, I had to go to work, and I have a position right now where I'm in an inpatient hospital, and I'm seeing, I'm a therapist to people who are experiencing mental health crisis, and so I have to compartmentalize these heavy feelings of doom and despair based
Mm.
on the election, that I had to put them aside and be a professional for these people who are having their own
Yeah.
crisis. And it's very, they don't know that I'm trans. It doesn't matter, and so I don't say it. I don't, and so but it's like an elephant in the room. It's there, but I
Mm.
have to act like it's not, and that's hard to do because it was no excuse. I had to go in. I had to act like it was like it was just another day,
Yeah.
but it wasn't just another day. Okay, and then that night I had people, other trans people of color that are my friends, like tell me that they're thinking about actually escaping,
Mm.
um, to other countries, and I'm like, that's, it's great, and then, you know in abstract, but it's hard to do in real life. You know that, right? It's not,
Yeah.
and I was feeling some type of way about that because it is a privilege to be able to say, "Hey, I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna leave," because people from other countries try to do that to get to the U.S.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a double standard to me. All
Yeah.
these things happening, and no one once had asked me at that day how I was feeling,
Mm.
right? And I had to be there for other people. But that is the name of the game when it comes to the trans community. It's always, there's always a need that is beyond you.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Well, we care about how you're feeling,
Yeah,
Renee.
yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, and yeah. Since then, people have checked in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
that day, I remember I was like, wow, I was upset because no one had ever asked. No one, I had to hear everybody's, but like no one asked me. And so it was, yeah,
Yeah, it's hard being because you are a care provider.
yeah,
Um and in essence a caretaker. And so too often caretakers and care providers are overlooked, right?
mhm,
Because they folk come to you to receive
yeah,
care, and not they're not always asked, like, how are you, like, do you need care, how are you doing? And so I think as a community as a whole, we have to do a much much better
yeah.
job of doing that. So we're going to take a quick break for you to take a sip of water.
Okay,
I'm going to do some housekeeping, and we will be back with more conversation
awesome,
with Renee. Thank you so much, y'all, for joining us today as I have this conversation with Renee about his experience as a Latino trans man, and also the organization that he's representing today, which is Save Our Sisters United. We're so glad that you are here. I want to give you an opportunity again to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Follow us on Inspire with Sue W on Facebook and on Instagram. If you want to follow me directly, just look for Sue A. Webley. I am Sue A. Webley everywhere on social media, including Blue Sky, which is just blowing up. Also, you can go head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. You can watch all of the previous episodes of Inspire. You can find out more about the show, more about myself, and also subscribe to our newsletter so that you don't miss anything that's happening with Inspire. Also, you can listen later on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Inspire with Sue on all of those platforms. Are you someone on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same? We definitely want to hear from you. We want you to join us in the conversation on a future episode of Inspire. You can head over to the website again and fill out the intake form right on the website. So that website again is www.getinspired.live. You can book your appearance right from our website. And so if that's you, please, 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 I invite you to go ahead and book your appearance. Once we receive that information, we will contact you to secure a date. Also, I want to be sure, because I'm going to do this every Saturday until Yanni receives her kidney. She needs a kidney. We are pulling together in community to help her get the kidney that she so desperately needs. She is searching for potential donors that are fairly healthy, who have the blood types A or O, and the courage to commit to surgery and to help save her life. And she would love to share the safety measures with you. And if you want to contact Yanni, some of us know as Pastor Yanni, Rev Yanni, the artist Yanni. If you want to contact Yanni and her family directly, please email peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. That's peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. Or you can head over to emerylivingdonor.org, fill out the survey, and enter her name, Ayana Davis. You can enter her name, Ayana Davis. Let's help Yanni get her kidney. Also, I want to be sure to thank you, Ali, for this. This is the cup that we're giving away. I love my sister. This is the cup that we're giving away. It's going to be on both sides, but all trans lives matter. So again, if you would like a cup, please do me a favor and put the hashtag inspire. Make sure that hashtag and inspire is connected. Don't separate the two, else the system will not be able to pick it up. All right, we are going to get back into some more conversation with Renee. Hi, Renee. Welcome back. Thank you
Hello.
again
Uh-huh.
for
No,
joining us.
I love your laugh. Is that
Uh,
and whenever you talk about, oh, I love my whenever when you were describing the cup, it was so cute.
Thank you very much. Thank
It's like
you.
spinning and it was
Yeah, 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 yeah. Listen, but yeah, my sister did that. That's
yes,
her company, and so we're grateful. We're grateful that I could be like, sis, I need a cup, and
yeah.
she comes through. So thank you so much, Ali. Thank you so much.
Like a
All
three.
right, so we talked about this, your fears. We talked about this, the political climate, um, and we know that this week is Trans Awareness Week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, it's a time for us to honor and uplift the voices of trans individuals. So, what does this week mean to you, and what does it mean to the organization?
Well, every year we do something that really highlights the intersection of race and the trans experience. So we partner with the people that organization that we share an office with. So the Mahogany Project, which is also trans led, Black trans led. We work with them to make something called the Black Trans Empowerment Week, and every day from the 15th onto the 21st, I believe it would be. So it's like a week long day of events. We've had like kiki balls, we've had like dinners, we have community dinner, we've had award ceremonies, and then every day, and then on T-Door, Trans Day of Remembrance, we have the Rain in Paradise Memorial. And so
Yeah,
every day there's something on the agenda,
yeah.
and people show out for that. We have performances, we have a lot of people show up, and then we give good food. It's like to show that the trans POC community deserves the best, and it's like a way to cherish each other's time and presence while we're here. And so
Mm,
we always do that every year. It's like a big thing, and notable people have come out. Like the mayor has come out too to those. A lot of people.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Wonderful. And that is, well, I'm going to see if I can find a. Do you have
Yes.
a graphic for it? Because I want to show that. I want to show it to everyone. If you happen to be in Houston, and so they can
Yeah.
kind of come out and support. Like, is it RSVP, or can someone just show up to the event?
Usually the RSVP, but I'll share. I'll email you the list of events, the flyers.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And I will share that on our pages so that those of you who are interested, those of you who are in Houston or in the surrounding area and you're interested, can be a part of that.
Mhm.
So you do so much, right? We talked a little bit earlier about folk not really checking in on the caretaker and the caregiver.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What what does self care look like for you? So you were deeply involved in advocacy and
Mhm.
support for this part of the marginalized community. What does self care look like?
I like to walk my dog, and I also like to play video games. But I'm seeing that the things that I enjoy to do are not as enjoyable because I my emotions about everything kind of takes away the it does get in the way of me trying whenever I try to relax. There's my body's still wired up,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not just a trans. It's a lot of people, right? It's everybody with ovaries, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of people are going through this. And so I always remember that, oh, and there are other people, and then I drown out my own experience
Mm-hmm.
because I'm there's like, oh yeah, there's other people that need assistance. There's other people,
Mm-hmm.
um, and but yeah, I do. It is all about no matter what the problem is. It's always people do well whenever they transform that negative energy into something positive,
Yeah.
whether it be physically or just intellectually,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
something to because you have to find something to live for, something to look forward to, whether it's just snacks or something. Because I love to eat, and so
Tell me about some of those snacks you like to eat,
I
Renee.
love to eat. I have a sweet tooth. I have all my teeth are sweet. I love to eat. I love I love I love sour things. I love spicy things. I love chocolatey things. I love savory things. I love everything.
Well, what is your favorite? We want to know so we can
I
try it.
like yams a lot. I like yams. I love this time of year because we get to have yams and
Mm,
things.
oh, you like okay.
Like cranberry sauce.
Oh, okay. Yams and cranberry
Yeah,
sauce.
yeah. Yeah, I like. One time I had a Thanksgiving themed birthday party. My birthday's in May, but I had requested a Thanksgiving dinner, and so my family had like they had to go like run around the grocery store trying to find everything because it's not set up in place for like it is in the fall.
Right, right, right,
To try
right.
to get all these items when they're out of season, it's harder to do, and so I didn't know that I was doing the most at the time because I was, but I realized that that was quite the big request. That's how much I love that the food from that holiday.
Thanksgiving in May,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like Christmas in July.
Yeah, 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 and it was hot, it was sweltering, and then whenever because it gets hot in the kitchen whenever you make whenever you make, the feast, and it was hot, I had them sweating, and I was like, "Oh, well, that looks hard."
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah,
We do have a Pastor Kim Kendrick. We do have a question from her in the chat.
okay.
She says, has SOSU experienced supporting or holding space for trans youth or their parents?
So, we do focus on trans adults, and
Hmm,
the message behind I think the reasoning behind that is because whenever legislation comes out, it usually focuses on, children rights, trans kids, taking away their access to gender affirming care, taking away their Title IX protections at school, the bathrooms that they can use and things like that, and sports that they can play. People flock, and that's good. It's important. People flock to protect the children.
hmm,
But then one day, the thing is, the children become adults, and we are adults,
hmm,
and we have to look at the hard truth that there's a gap in what adults like. When people flock to children and they protect them so rightfully so,
hmm, hmm,
and so we have only focused on adults so far. But I feel that Hernandez has such an open mind, and she has all the community in mind. So I think that in the future we could potentially do something with the youth. I know that a lot of the young people attend the social events. Like for example, one of our other programs under our organization it's called Transcend Gaming, and they host gaming events where you come together and play video games or like
hmm,
tabletop games, and it's like a room full of people, and we have a Halloween one where everyone dresses up for Halloween, and a lot of kids go to that one. You don't have to be an adult to go to these
yeah.
to our functions, but service wise, when it comes to like food, rent, and bills, things like that,
Hmm.
only happen for adults.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. I think it's when we think about trans youth, all of this legislation that's that has been coming out and going to be coming out really impacts
Hmm.
trans youth and their parents' rights to help them make certain choices
Hmm.
for themselves. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, if that's
parents.
something that can be kind of touched on or even looked at in an organization.
Because that's a fair point. Like the parents
Yeah.
are also a neglected group,
Hmm.
and so I don't want to. I want to hold space for them too, and I think that
Yeah.
you're right. I think that more needs to be had for them because we don't focus. I think since we don't focus on children, we haven't done much for for our parents of trans people.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think those avenues need to be explored.
Yeah, that's something to think about. And I think, given what's coming,
Yeah.
that, listen, anywhere you can find community and advocate, for
Mhm.
it's necessary, right?
Yeah, because
Anywhere
it's
that
not like
you
the 600. I think 664 bills over the states were have been submitted to legislation in different like 43 different states.
can,
So that's a lot of them attack the parents and then the
yeah,
teachers are trying to
yeah,
support their trans children, and so like they get their share of the blow too.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
They're
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
arrest them. They're trying to arrest them. Just trying to.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. But we so appreciate the work that you're doing, and with the organization, and we so appreciate Atlantis
yeah.
for stepping out on faith and beginning starting this organization.
Mm-hmm.
To our trans viewers, trans identified, or those of trans experience, viewers who may be watching today, who will catch this in the replay, who may listen later on, what words of encouragement or advice would you offer to them, especially for those who are navigating, challenges and striving to live in their truth?
Mm-hmm. Being trans is a need to know basis. Nobody needs to know unless you give them the right to share. It's your right. No one should be pulling it out of you or dictating when you disclose yourself to other people. I know it's cliche, but there is community, and we are a community based population. We thrive
Mhm.
best with other people who are going through our same experience because there's always a lot of us know where to go, and it hasn't been written down anywhere. If it has, it's outdated. There's always more information about something that you cannot find online. It's the people, and so I
Mhm.
think that even if you feel that you're trans, okay, you're living your life. It doesn't matter. You have a job, you have a family. It doesn't. Okay, you're trans, and right. It's not. Some people are trans, and it doesn't impact their daily life. But even so, there's something about having friends, a
Mhm.
social life, a community to go to foster that part of yourself because it's a big part. And no matter what the issue is with, if you have trouble about being misgendered, if you have trouble getting access to medication, to hormones or gender affirming care of any kind, if it's sexual concerns, no matter what, there's an outlet in a community setting. And so I think staying interconnected, even if you feel that you don't need anybody, a lot of trans men feel like they don't need anybody because
Mm.
at a certain point it's a little different for us. We go on testosterone
Yeah.
and we have the privilege of passing. No one questions us really.
Yeah.
And that need for community, they feel that it drops. But does it have to drop? Do you have
Mm.
to do it alone?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What is your dream as we get ready to close out and do this drawing for the cup today, for the tumbler today? What is your dream for yourself and for the trans community?
Mm. I want for I want I would like more trans people in politics.
Hmm.
Even more, they're starting to come out because I think that would spearhead not only with even on a politics level, a trans person who is in politics doesn't need to be, no matter what their perspective is, whether they are more right leaning or left leaning. It doesn't. I don't. The fact that they exist and
Hmm.
that people have seen them in this role is a catalyst for a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And so I think that once one or two, when people already have started to become, Congress people,
Hmm.
people already started to become those, but it's just a breakout. If some people do it, finally it will open the gate for a lot of other people to follow suits.
Yeah.
And on a social level, or on a macro level, I think that that would do a lot of change.
Yeah.
Socially, it would be just so nice if I want education to be better. I want people to stop thinking about XX and XY chromosomes. It doesn't matter. It is not that simple. It's not the only one. Those aren't the only two chromosomes like combinations that we have. I just think there's so much misinformation, and it would be nice if people embraced the education and embraced the actual science. I
Hmm.
just, but there's so many stuff in place in Texas that doesn't allow that to happen.
Yeah.
It's just not the climate for it.
Yeah.
And so, and there's a reason why they don't want us to get educated on it.
Yeah.
So I just, I wish, I know it's corny, but I wish we were more understood. Yeah.
That's not corny at all. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us today, Renee. Thank you, all of you who have joined us and are watching. As promised, we're going to give away this mug. Let me put it back on screen.
But that 360 mug, but that it's
Come on, this
that
tumbler.
Miss Miss Tumblr.
I love it. I love it. It's gonna go back around. So it'll be on both sides, y'all. But Ali whipped this up together so that we can show what the tumbler would look
The
like.
category
And
and the
this
category.
is mine in real life. All Black Lives Matter.
Hmm.
And it has pride on the other side of it. So I thank my sister for creating uh, that mug for me. And we are going to, if you want a mug, if you want to try to win one, please put hashtag inspire.
If the category is face, then they get all tens.
That's across the board.
Tumblers, you know.
Um, yes, Chuck. Chuck Hunt just said it is horrifying to see who was elected to these various offices.
Yes.
Listen, I've been watching and seeing those names come across
Yeah.
in the news, and yeah, it is really terrifying. And
Mm,
as I've been sharing with those I love, it's time to lean into our creativity, lean into the arts, lean into the things that you can do as protests,
mhm, mhm,
right? And remember that you still do have power. I know many of us feel powerless right now, but we do have power. We do have power by virtue of us existing.
mhm.
We do have power, so we got to lean into ourselves. So we have two people that put the hashtag in for this mug. So let's go ahead and do this drawing.
Mhm.
Let's see. Pascal Kendrick has won
Uh,
the tumbler. Congratulations. Please do me a favor and inbox me with your address, and I will make sure that we get that tumbler out to you. Thank you so much for joining our
Yeah.
joining our drawing today. That was a tongue twister. Okay. Oh, thank you again for hanging out with us. Thank you again, Renee.
Mhm.
We wish you much success on
Yeah.
everything that you're doing with the organization and in your personal life.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear that you've gotten that degree. I know
Right. Thank you so
you
much too.
have MSW after your name.
Uh, thank you so much too for your time. I appreciate. Thank you for the platform. Thank you.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And ooh, I apologize for those beginning for that.
Oh, it is fine. Listen, you were here, and that's all that
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
Y'all, we are going to get out of here, but I mentioned Sasha
Yeah. Yeah.
when I started. Sasha is, my spiritual daughter of trans experience. And so to close out today, I just want to leave you with a brief message. It's about 10 minutes long, 10 seconds, sorry,
Mm.
long. Leave you with a message from Sasha. We miss you. Sasha, you're up there in heaven, getting on God's nerves in the best Sasha way possible. We miss you so much, and yeah, listen to this message from Sasha, and we will see you again next week.
Let your light shine through so the world can see how beautiful you are inside and out.